You are now listening to the Empowered Podcast. I'll be your host, JB Hawkins. I'm a real estate agent with eXp out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I've been in the industry for over 15 years. I've decided to turn my attention away from production and focus on agent development. I hope you enjoy the show. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Empowered. And today we have the real estate queen, one of my dearest friends, Brooke Chandler.
Hi JB. Hi, friends. So excited to be on the podcast with JB. JB has been one of the most inspiring and encouraging people I've ever met. I truly cannot say enough good things about her and you know, the motivation and the movement that has, you know, started in that snowball effect that she truly, you know, was one to initiate. So thank you for having me. I'm elated, I'm honored, and super humbled to be here.
Well, thank you so much, Brooke. So for the people listening to this, I got to know Brooke really well about maybe 6 or 7 months ago. And I'm telling you, this girl is a rock star. I don't know where she finds the energy to do. She runs a huge team. She does a heck of production. She works with a builder. She's such a good leader. So I am very, very excited to get into today. We have a lot to cover. These are typically about 30 minutes, but who knows with us? We're talkers.
We are. You know, it might go an hour and a half. It'll be fine. We'll probably get back. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. We're good. I love it. Love it.
So, Brooke, let's just get into it.
All right.
The first question I always ask is, how long have you been in real estate, and what did you do before real estate?
So I have been in real estate a total of 4 years. I started with a friend of mine who I'd known for, 10 years. I mean, way back from when I was like a kid. And, she kept telling me, when you're ready, you'll do it. When you're ready, you'll do it. I finally jumped in feet first and got my license. So that was a provisional sales license. Started off with a new construction type platform, worked, the strangest hours. I worked like Wednesday to Sunday, 1 to 5, sat in kind of like a model home. But I wanted so much more, and I knew that I had a vision and a passion to grow. And my background was in interior design. So my formal education is in interior design. Absolutely love design, love architecture, love the elements, love the textures. I love making spaces feel like home. So naturally, real estate was it just made that so much more cohesive. At the time, my daughter, so when I was in real estate school, I had a 4-week-old baby. So my daughter was 5. Yeah. So I had a 4-week-old baby.
It did not surprise me.
You're like, no, it's not surprising. I had a 4-week-old baby. I decided, it was like this like synergy moment when I was pregnant with my daughter. I just remember saying, I want to change my life. I want it to be different. I want it to be different for her because she is, she's a girl, and there's something special about, raising a young woman. And so anyway, my background being in design, new construction came very naturally to me. I would go 3 hours a night, every night, to real estate school. It was miserable. I had a nursing baby. It was wild. It was all over the map. But I knew that I was stepping into the season that I needed to be in. Stepped into it, grew very quickly, became Rookie of the Year, top 500, top 100, have maintained top 100. And I, being a young woman, I wanted to establish myself and honestly just grow more for my clients. So I ended up getting my broker's license. So now I lead a team. So in 4 years' time, I have 2 babies, and then we'll talk a little bit about my story later. But that's kind of my background and what catapulted me into where I'm at now. So
you talked a little bit about wanting to change your life and you wanted more.
Right.
What was it about real estate that kind of gave you that? Was it conversations that you were having, or, what?
So for me, one of the things that sets my practice apart it's not about the volume or the number or the, deposits or the money. It's about the amount of people that I get a hand in touching their lives. And I think there's something to be said about the seasons in which people buy and sell homes.
Yeah.
And so coming from a family that had ministry background, I'm a huge woman of faith. There's something about transition seasons that I eat up. And it's those seasons, whether people are adding to their family, whether people are going through divorce, whether they are going through loss, whether they are, growing their empire and they're expanding their reach. Like there's something to be said about those synergy, energetic moments, and sometimes somber moments that bring out something in me that I know is in there, and I know that I have to share with the world, and that I can handhold people through seasons like that, whether it's a very happy season or a very sad season, either one. And that is what I love about real estate. For me, it has nothing to do with where it puts me at or how it positions me in the economic structure. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, I truly believe this is my calling and that I get to be a part of so many people's lives in such an intimate way.
Yes.
I love that. That's my.
You're wonderful. You're a great leader for your team. I know that you treat people with the utmost respect, and I know your clients are very lucky to have you. So is your team.
I love that. And I feel like I cry at every week we have our team meeting, and I get emotional because it's exactly what I prayed for. It's exactly what I worked for. It's exactly, just the sisterhood and the encouragement and the, energy and the, it's watching that vision come to fruition. And it's been years in the making. And it is a lot of, it's a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, a lot of, putting your blinders on and putting your head down and just going and not allowing anything to stop you. And I mean, a little bit about my story. About midway through my real estate career, I lost my twin daughters. And that would have I remember there was a day that I remember specifically, so I lost them on December 21st, and it was the new year. And I remember laying in bed and thinking to myself, get up. Yeah. Get up, because if you do not get up right now, you have a daughter, because at the time Penelope was 2, you have a daughter that's watching you. You have a family that's watching. You have a community, because at this point I'd already made it to, top 100. I mean, I had already established myself. Like, you have a calling on your life that is so strong that what was meant for evil will be turned to good, but you got to get up.
That's one thing that I've always noticed about you since we've known each other in the real estate industry, but it was really that 6 months ago that we got to have some very, intimate conversations about our faith and about, the things that we've gone through in our lives. And that's one thing that I've always noticed about you is your faith is number one. And you really listen to what you're calling and the vision he has on your life. And I absolutely love that about you. That's just who you are, Brooke. And it comes out in your leadership. It shows up in your business. And I love it. I love watching you.
Thank you. It wasn't always that way. I used to have a different mindset. And I think one of the things, when people see me today, and you've known me for years, JB, so but when people see me today, you get a lot of feedback, and you get a lot of, you're lucky, and you look like you're enjoying life a little too much, and you're
the strategy. We don't know what it took us to go from here to here. Mm-hmm. The mindset, the late nights, the hard work. Luck had nothing to do with it.
No. And when you see, I saw this quote, and it says, "When you see me happy, just let me be happy. Just let me live out the days that I knew I was meant to live out in the hardest days, the darkest days that I went through. Just let me live."
Yeah.
Let me be here in this moment, because I can promise you that story will always come through. That story, that is a testimony that I will stand on, and I will, I mean, I have built myself up from literally the very bottom, and I'm not going to be ashamed of that. And I think that being authentic and being real and being honest and being transparent with people, it's something that you can't really, it's something you can't teach, but you do have to unlearn things. And I remember prior to the loss of my twins, like I knew there was something in me. It was like, I mean, I physically, JB, like a yearning in my heart to do more, but I didn't know how. And after losing my twins, I said, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of just mediocrity. I'm sick of complacency. I'm sick of just this, I'm going to pay my bills and die.
Right.
That's not what I'm here for. And I knew that. And I think that everybody on the planet has that in their heart, because I think that's part of our calling, is to further, the kingdom, and to further, so many things that, but some people don't answer the call.
Right.
People never wake up to that. But it took me quite literally unlearning. I was 300 pounds, 298 pounds.
Yeah.
I was depressed. I was just, it was pathetic. I look back at my life and I'm like, wow, that was awful. I remember waking up and saying, I am so sick of this. I am so sick of this. And I am going to spend my life doing it completely different than anything that's been done before. And I will tell you something about successful people. They stand on a mountain of failure.
Oh, do they ever?
when you have established yourself, and when you stand on the mountaintop, that mountaintop is built of failure.
100%.
Yeah, it is when you wake up in the morning, you're not going to do everything perfect. You just got to get up again. But it was that first get up moment that was the catalyst moment, a moment of catastrophe and chaos and sadness and just utter disbelief. It was that moment that was a catalyst for me to where I am now. And when
you have those moments, like we've all had those moments, right? And we have a choice.
Right.
We can choose to stay down, or we can choose to get up.
Yep.
And it's amazing what can happen when you make the choice and you light that fire.
Yes.
Well, I can tell you, I know that you've lit the fire. That fire burns deep, and you have changed so much in your life, and you're such an inspiration to other people. But we all have that power inside us.
Yes.
To recognize it and act on it. You have to get up, right?
Yes. Yes. And I speak about that because I look back at that moment and I think to myself, that is sad that it had to come to that level of desperation. And if people would just wake up and realize, you don't have to hit that bottom moment. You don't have to hit that low moment. Yes, it makes it, it makes a testimony, and it's beautiful, like what I've walked through and like what I've been able to overcome. That's great. But if people would realize every single one of them, every single one of us, every single person on this planet has the greatness inside of them. They just have to light a fire. They have the gasoline, and they have, moments in their life that it may be changing, or, there may be a new job opportunity or something like that. They have the gasoline. It doesn't take a match moment. Take the match yourself and light it. And say, you know what? I want to change this. Not to, it doesn't necessarily have to be you want to stand on stages and you want to, make tons of money and you want to, it doesn't have to be that. It can simply be, there are people that are going to follow me, whether it be your children, whether it be your, the people that you lead, whether it be your coworkers, whether it be your sister, your mother, your, whoever it is, there are people in your life that are following you. Right. What kind of example are you giving them? Because they're only going to rise to the occasion. They're only going to grow to what they believe they're capable of. And if they see normal people, thriving and growing and being at exponential rates, if they see that, they know they can do it too. And that was the moment. That was my match moment. But the fire, the gasoline, it had to keep going. It it had to be pouring the gasoline on every single day, whether it was a podcast or a book or, a habit stacking or whatever the case was. It had to be me doing it and realizing that ordinary people who believe they can do extraordinary things can change the world.
You are speaking my love language. I mean, I eat this stuff up. I've lived it.
Yes, you
I
have.
know what can happen in a person's life when they take control.
Yep.
And they realize that, it's just me. I'm a normal person.
You're amazing.
I can overcome this. A lot of people don't know that for years I struggled with alcohol, and it almost cost me everything in my life, including my own.
Yep.
And, to overcome that, I don't really regret that part of my life, because now it does give me a testimony, and it's made me resilient, strong. Nobody can kick me down, and I promise you, and you're the same way, Brooke, we're not going to stay there. Kick us down all day long. Watch me get right back up over and over and over again. But it was through those lessons, through the hard times that I had in my life, that brought me to this point.
Right.
And the same for you. And so you are just speaking my love language. I love that we're friends. I love seeing you win. You're just an amazing person. So,
I think the same about you, and I want to expound on something you said of nobody can keep you down. And one of the things that I tell specifically women, I've had a ton of people reach out to me, specifically women who, hey, I'm going through this difficult circumstance, whether it be, raising their children or going through marital things or whatever the case is. And I tell them this exact same thing. Nobody has the power over you unless you give it. Unless you allow them that power, they don't have it. And your failures, like I said, like successes stand on a mountain of no's and a mountain of failures and a mountain of down moments. But the difference is they stand. They stand on top of that mountain and they stand up again, and they do it 100 times over, no matter how many failures. Yeah. And if you own your failures and you own that testimony, you can change people's lives with that. And I think that's what people don't understand, like shame and grief and all of those things. JB, what you have gone through and what you have overcome can change people's lives.
You're right.
But had you kept that in darkness and kept that in shame and never shared that, nobody would ever know that about you.
Right.
Like there are labels that we can put on ourselves. And I see a phenomenal mentor and therapist who, she says, every time you put a label on yourself that has a negative connotation, I want you to line it with a positive, because every single time you look at yourself and you say, oh, I'm divorced, I'm a single mother, I was overweight, I was obese, I was broke, I was in poverty, like all of those things, you can overcome those things, and then it becomes part of your testimony, and that is what changes people's lives.
Right.
Because
you take those negative things and you have a choice.
Right.
Life is all about choices. I can choose to kind of wallow in it and use it as an excuse or whatever, or I can take that as a learning moment and build from it, grow from it, learn from it.
Right.
And use it to fuel something good in my life. But it basically comes down to you have a choice. It's what you choose to do with it. That's right. We could have made a different choice and had a whole different life.
Can you? The thing is that the sunshine and butterfly moments are not what change people.
No.
Because people get upset. People get upset when they see, people that aren't developed, they get upset when they see you winning. And like you said, they have no idea. And they have but if they just knew a snippet, and I can't tell you how many people have come to me and been like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. But that makes me respect you so much more. That makes me listen to your story. If people would stop allowing other people to own those failures and those shortcomings, they could change the world with them. And I think that's where it comes back to business and real estate, just being real with people. I mean, half the time, listings come from tragic situations that are just, dirt. I mean, it's just junk. And you're coming down from, you're coming off of these, just sad moments. But if you're able to link arms with people that have that mindset, that is what I'm here for. I'm not here for, the publishings or even I love the podcast, but I'm not here for all that. What I'm here for is the moment in which I can link arms with somebody and I can speak into their life and say, you know what? This is not your story.
And that's the words and the story that more women need to hear.
Yes.
I think it's kind of an issue I see a lot of times on social media where, some woman is jealous of another woman winning. And I'm just like, you know what? You have no idea.
No idea.
First of all, what it took that person. We don't know their journey.
Right.
It took them to gain the confidence to do something for themselves. And I wish more women would support women, love on them.
Yes.
I love to see women win.
Yes.
So, just women be very mindful of not judging,
yes.
not, doing all that negative stuff.
Right.
That same energy that you're using for that and in your own life.
Right. Invest it back into yourself.
That's right.
I'll tell you, JB, this is one of the most, in my opinion, formative decisions for me in real estate. When I started in real estate, when I had that catalyst, like, hey, I want to do something different. I want to raise, a daughter that believes in herself and is empowered and knows, women are superheroes. We juggle so many things. We juggle children. We juggle body crises. We juggle dinner. We juggle dishes. I mean, we juggle everything. Like, just chill out for a second, y'all. But anyway, my point is, when I started in real estate, I love realtors. I really do. I love them so much. But here's what I did, because I was not in a developed place. And this is on me. This was on me, but this is a moment in which my outlook changed. I put blinders on. And when I say that, I took actual action steps to do that. I unfollowed people on social. And not because I didn't love them, but because I was not at a place developmentally that I could absorb comparison.
Right.
Because when you are captivated with a purpose, you will never be, comparison is a thief of joy. When you have a purpose and you no longer care and you're no longer looking to the left or the right, when you put your blinders on, you focus, your life can change because you're putting that energy back into yourself. You don't care what another woman is doing. In fact, you're clapping for her and you're proud of her. Right. And you say, you know what? But I was not at a place in my early career that I could do that. Now I follow other realtors, and I love them and I encourage them and all those things. But at the time, I knew in my heart that I was not developed. There was a spirit of jealousy that I had to break. Right. And I will tell you, one of the most freeing things, that is one of the most freeing things that I've ever done in my life. And I encourage people to do that. Here's why. Because, if say that you go and you start kind of looking at people's stuff like that, it's just that like bad energy and that just like, just negativity. It's a fungus and it will grow. And if you allow it to take root, you can't. You cannot do that. You cannot. You are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Right. And as much time as we spend on social media, and as much time as we spend with the people in our lives, we can't have it. I mean, it's horrible, and it will steal your joy. It will ruin your day if you allow it to. So, as an underdeveloped woman, that was what I chose to do. I think that was a very mature decision. I recommend it to literally everyone, especially if you have goals and ambition and you want to be at the very top. I will tell you one thing that you cannot do is look at people as you're climbing. You can't, because it will slow you down. It will keep you down. You will spend more time and more energy invested in what everybody else is doing versus what you need to do to get absolutely internal. Like, you have to put blinders on, take it back in, because especially JB, and I'm sure you went through this, you knew in your heart, even maybe when you were struggling in like moments of alcoholism and, struggling with, you knew that you were made for more. Am I right?
Absolutely. I just, you get those parts of life where you're just lost. You don't have good people surrounding you. You're out there on an island, and I knew it.
Yes.
Just didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
At the time. But, that's when I got into reading. Podcast was kind of new then, but I was listening to podcasts.
Right.
I was reading. I was getting help from people that I wanted to be like.
Right.
You know, I was reaching out, and I eventually, thank the Lord, dug myself out of that hole.
Yes.
I'm so thankful for that, because
Yes.
I never knew. If I look back on that time in my life, I will tell you, I had no idea what God had in store for me.
Yes.
The relationship with my kids, my sweet, amazing, loving, most wonderful husband. It's like God made him for me.
Yes.
With, you know, I had no idea all that was in store. So it really, truly was by the grace of God, I was ripped out of that horrible time in my life.
Grace.
And I totally transformed every aspect of my life. So, so grateful for that.
And the thing is I think, especially, you and I have very similar backgrounds and upbringing, and, I don't think we have time to dive into that today, but I will say, if you would not spend more than 5 minutes in their shoes, don't waste more than 5 minutes entertaining their advice.
Right.
And that's what I did too, JB. I looked at people like Grant Cardone and his wife, and, Tony Robbins, and I dove. I mean, that is all I listened to. That is all. I did not listen to conventional music. I was, my sweet honey the other day, I was saying something about, I didn't even know there was a rapper named Russ. Because I literally lived under a rock for years. I mean, I dove headfirst into, I want to be there, and I'm not gonna I did not chase the weekend. I focused, and that's what it took. But I was joking. I was like, hey, have you ever heard of it? I wasn't joking. He thought I was joking. I said, have you ever heard of this rapper named Russ? He was like, what? And I was like, I am telling you, like, I've lived under a rock. But you know what? It like, that's what it took. It took that insane, like, I don't care. I like, this is just a fleeting moment. Like, all of these, like, superficial things have nothing to do with where I want to go, And so, anyway, so I meant to make that lighthearted, but I think when it comes to taking advice and pouring into yourself, I didn't have that circle of people that were where I wanted to be. Now I've developed.
Yeah. I think you have to, like, really go kind of, I had to search for it.
Yes.
So that's kind of going to bring me into my next question. Like, your level of success, I think we're kind of, heading into talking more about that. But before we go into that, I want to say that, of all the things that you can do as a new agent, or even a seasoned agent that wants to do more production.
Right.
I feel like what you put in, like, I've said this before, if you put cheeseburgers and fried food and all this, it's going to show up. You're going to physically see that change.
Right.
It's the same principle with your mind. Whatever you're putting in your mind, if you're putting TV shows and Netflix and this and that always, that's what's going to show up in your life.
Right.
Choose to read, listen to podcasts, be around, influential people, or people that you respect, that you aspire to be like, and have those conversations. That's going to show up in your life. And that's simply what I did. Is I had my get up moment.
Yep.
I am not going to do this. I am not going to be an alcoholic. I am not going to be a loser.
I'm going to pull it together.
And I'm going to get my crap together. And I started slowly. I didn't have that circle either.
No.
All my circle were drinkers. That's how I got there.
Right.
So I had to go kind of take the initiative and do that on my own, and start surrounding myself with those people.
Right.
That kind of brings me to my next, thing. Brooke, you have been wildly successful. Your first year, you were Rookie of the Year. I think that you did, was it over 20 million last year, right?
Almost 27.
Okay. Crazy. What? So for the agents that are listening that want, they want to do that level of production,
right,
what are a couple of tips that you could give them that they could take, and they're tactical, tangible, that they can take back to their business and start working on?
So with that, I think people are shocked to know that I still have open houses. I still follow up with my circle of influence. I still show up to work every day.
Yes.
I still wake up at 4:30. I still go to bed late. I still write contracts. Like I've had clients that are like, go to bed. I'm like, I can't, because you have to be hungry.
I have learned one of Brooke's secrets, by the way. She has an iced coffee machine in her house.
I need a main line. Like if I could have a main line of espresso, my life would be different. Like I could do more. Lots of caffeine, obviously. But you never arrive. You can successful people wonder if they're doing enough. And like if you get to a point where you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing enough and like I'm satisfied, you're done.
You're done. Gosh, I'm so glad you said that. That is so good.
You can't arrive.
Thing that's not talked about enough. Like you're right. As a successful person, we're never like, oh, we made it. It's great, awesome, good for us. We're like, okay, well, if we did that, then we can do this. Well, if we did this, we can do this.
Right.
There is no complacency. We don't have room for that in our life.
No, you can't. I mean, and whether it's and how you do one thing, JB, and this is why it's so important. Like you were saying, pouring into your mind. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Sure. So when you're filling your body with junk food and you're filling your head with, gossip and, jealous, just ugliness, and whenever you're filling your home with, I mean, it's just, it would be like walking into like a dirty fish tank and expecting for you to be able to get oxygen. You know what I mean? I'd be like a fish living in a dirty fish tank, expecting to be able to breathe. Right. You can't do that. And so how you do one thing is how you do everything. So my advice, I have two portions here. My advice to agents, keep working and keep pushing. And look at people, not necessarily in your MLS system, not necessarily like you want to be the small fish in the big pond. When you make it in a smaller market, you're in a very small pond. You cannot be complacent and think that you've arrived. That's not how this works. Like if you want more, you can't expect to be, oh, I'm in top 100, now I've made it. Right. Yeah. You can't just arrive to top 100 and be like, oh yeah, I'm satisfied. Like that's crap. I mean, honestly, that's what it is. But so second portion of that, so obviously like devoting the time and habit stacking and having all those things in your business, also in your personal life. Also in your personal life, make sure that you're spending time with your kids. Make sure that you're reading your books. Make sure that you're listening to your podcast. Make sure you're networking with people who pour life into you. And let me just tell you, life isn't always about networking with people that have are affluent people. They don't necessarily have to be the most wealthy. You don't have to go sit down with Warren Buffett, as much as I love him. And I love his mindset. But let me tell you one thing about Warren Buffett. He has a great mindset. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the most affluent people. It has to be the people who wake up happy. Yeah. Success is not defined. Like when I say successful people and aligning yourself with people like that, it doesn't necessarily have to be the most wealthy people. It's people who wake up happy and who pour life into the world and who literally aspire to just enjoy the moment and stop and smell the roses, and who are genuinely happy people. Yes. That is so. Not only should your work life be methodical and conducive to growth and investing your time there, but also in your personal life, make sure the people, especially those people that are closest to you, like your family members and your spouse and your best friends, they better be pouring into themselves just as much as you do, if not more, because you don't want to be the best. If you were the smartest person in the room, you were in the wrong room. Absolutely. If if you're the most ambitious person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like, get out. And you'll notice people like that, they won't stay in those rooms for long, but I think that, just leveraging your time to impact your mental, space as much as possible in a good way. And so how you do one thing is how you do everything. I wake up, I go to the gym, I drink my water, I drink a ton of caffeine, I spend time with my kids, I make meals at home. I mean, and that trickles into your professional life as well. So if you want balance between the two, what I recommend, just last week I told my team, I want you guys to get into the gym once a day today, or every day this week.
Right.
And you know what they did? One of my girls, Ashley, she sent me this screenshot. She got into Cycle Bar. And I was like, let's go, you know, like, let's go. Because if you're pouring into yourself, you have that much more to give to other people. And I think that's what people don't understand. Like the whole, like, I'm tired thing, it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. I got 2 kids and 27 million in production and you know, all the other
time to be tired, right?
You don't have time to be tired. Pull yourself out of it, ladies. But I think women are magical. I think there's an element of that. But I will say, habit stacking and just investing into yourself and investing into your business. I ask my girls every morning, I say, hey girls, what are you doing in your business today? Right. Every single day.
Yes.
And they will chatter back. If you have some type of accountability, whether that be a mentor, whether that be a team lead at EXP, I mean, it could be your upline. You know, it could be a number of people that keep you accountable. If you have that, but if you can be self-accountable and you can be self-motivating and you could change everything, you know, and I think that's what pushed me to top 100. I had a handful of people who spoke life into me, but otherwise I put my blinders on and I woke up every morning and said, what am I doing in my business today? What am I doing to improve this? What can I do to push me to where I want to be today? And that's what you gotta do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, closing on a house. It can be investing in your circle of influence. It can be investing in yourself. It can be investing in your family. It can be posting on social and speaking your testimony. Like all of those things, like those things are investing back into where you want to be. So I don't know.
That's good stuff, Brooke. I love it.
Girl, it's like
it really does start with mindset. I mean, it really, really does. I can teach people and you can teach people the tools, the resources on how to do the real estate.
It's true.
But if you don't have the mindset to begin with, it's going to be very difficult. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's very difficult when you don't have the right mindset.
It's true.
Gosh, such good stuff today. We did it, girl. I love it.
I'm so goofy. I'm just going to tell you, like, I know there's a level of professionalism, but there's something about transparency that sets people like you and I apart. I mean, there's something about it. Like when you are just goofy and you are just who you are. Like one time I heard somebody say that like you can't have like tattoos and you can't dress a certain way and like represent. And I was just like, what? Like I'm goofy as they come. Like this is me with my like. No, I'm not like cracking jokes. I do sometimes though, but I mean. That people come to you for you. And one of my very best friends has salons here in Tulsa. She's a very successful hairdresser. And one time I was like, Holly, like, what? Like, do you ever like tone it down? And she's like, absolutely not.
The best thing anybody can do for themselves is to show up.
Show up who you are. Yeah. Show up.
That's who God made you. If you show up anything else than who you genuinely are, it's never going to work.
And people are going to see through it.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. Like you want to maintain professionalism, but at the same time, real estate transactions are pretty boring. Like I mean, and anybody can push paper. Like but when it comes to choosing agents, like if you look at like the top 100 in Tulsa. We're a bunch of goofy people.
We are. We're authentic. We're fun. We get excited. We're going to hold their hand.
Yes, because you are going to spend, 30 to 45 days with these clients. And then a lot of them, I've had people that have bought 12 houses with me at this point. I mean, and they're just like, you just are you. Like you show up as you, and I love that. And that was that one more thing about like people when they start out, don't listen to people tell you who to be. Or how to be, or how to look, or how to talk, or how to just stop. That's not who God made you. That's not who you were called to be. That's crap. At the end of the day, who you are is who your clients are hiring. Who you are. The goofy, authentic, somehow, just maybe scatterbrained and a little over caffeinated. That's who people hire. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they love it. And you know why? Because you are your authentic self, and you can't put a mask on because people see through it. You're never going to last. And I remember early on, I tried to kind of curate and I was miserable. And I was like,
It
this
doesn't work. It really does not work.
No. And when I started showing up as this person, as who I was, and a take it or leave it attitude, that's when things started happening. And if women specifically would realize, if you would show up as your authentic self, watch who aligns with you. Watch who comes alongside you, because I can guarantee, like JB, you and I have known each other for 4 years. Right. But until we started walking in the authenticity, we never aligned. And then that's crazy. And now look at us now. Not that we've made it, because you never arrive, but like look at us now in just this short span of like truly being this authentic person. Look at how it's changed the people in your circle, and you walk into your office happy, and you walk into your meetings happy, and you wake up happy. I mean,
happy that's the key. Is I was happy. I really genuinely happy with my life.
Love. Yeah.
And that is priceless. That is, you can't buy it.
Yeah.
You can't earn it. I mean, I'm happy. And I can definitely see that on YouTube, Brooke.
Thank you. And I look at pictures and I'm like, man, like for you, it just wasn't the same, And you just, like even I'll give you a really good example. My photographer, because I have a photographer, believe it or not, a greater portion of this business is branding. That's
right.
What we do. So I get a lot of flack on that, but it's whatever. But I will say, my photographer said something to me, about a year ago, and she said, you just look so much happier.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, when you start to chisel away at those, things or portions or people or, and when you start to remove those people that are not in alignment with you and don't have the same goals and same mindset, are not, they're drains, not fountains. When you start to take those people away, your life will change. And it may not be overnight, but it will be a gradual change. And you will arrive to a place where you're unrecognizable. Like you look like a different person. I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's just so, but that being said, I do encourage everybody, get a really good photographer and take all the pictures you want and document your life and have a blast, because life is too short. It truly is. Show up as your authentic self and love every minute of it. I know that we're professionals. I know this is an income, and I get that, but it's more about making an impact and about impacting people's lives for the betterment, and to encourage women to be their best self, because anything else is mediocre, and it is complacent, and it's junk. You can show up however you want in this life. Show up for you. Don't show up for other people. So.
Oh, I love it, Brooke. We have talked about so much today. I am so glad that you came on today. So if agents want to kind of reach out to you and pick your brain and ask you questions, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
So obviously my cell phone, which is everywhere. I won't say that here, but I also have a TikTok. I have an Instagram. I have a Facebook. My TikTok my handle is at Brooke Chandler, the Realtor.
It's famous on TikTok, if you didn't know.
Okay, so can I tell you really quick? Okay, I didn't mean to be famous on TikTok. Here's how this happened. So I did not mean to be famous on TikTok. It just turns out I'm that goofy. So I didn't mean to. My little sister, this is how out of touch with the world I am. My little sister, about like 9 months ago, texted me. She's like, hello, my viral sister, or something like that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, you went viral on and I was like, what's viral? She was like, Brooke, you got like, however many million, whatever. And I was like, what? And she was like, I swear, go look. And so she said, I didn't even know how TikTok worked. I'm not kidding. That was lucky. That was, that was a streak of luck there. But I will tell you, I've had clients reach out to me from TikTok.
Me too. I did not go viral.
Yes.
It's just another way to get business. It's 2022. I mean,
absolutely.
You join the party or not. But I love TikTok. I love watching it. probably a little too much. I have to really control my time because it's funny.
Yes, it is funny.
But yeah, I love it. Well, I would encourage people to reach out to Brooke on TikTok, or I mean, she is everywhere. Instagram. What is your website? I know that you guys just revamped your website and it's beautiful.
Yes. So you can reach out to me on my website. It's tulsahomesearch.com. If you would like to, it's, and in my opinion, I know there are many softwares, but in my opinion, it's the best platform for searching, buying, selling, whatever the case is. Or if you just want to chat with me or one of my team members, you can get on there and register. I mean, we've had some really funny leads before. So if you want to be funny, I think that's a great platform. We always review them in team meeting, like, oh, this one's hilarious. This one maybe is a little inappropriate, but you know, it's fine. No, but please, I mean, honestly, best resource. I would love to get a few stitches on TikTok. So if you guys want to reach out to me on TikTok, I would be happy to make a goofy video. JB, I adore you so much. Thank you for having me. I know I rambled a lot, but I just very passionate. I think that people and women specifically should live their best life and be empowered. Thank you so much for being an example for our community and those outside that are. I mean, you just show up as your authentic self, and your testimony is, you know, second to none. I just, it's amazing to me what happens when people take leaps of faith that may be scary in the beginning, but at the end, when you arrive to that mountaintop and you stand on, you know, this hill of failure and get up moments, you don't see anything else around you, and you see, wow, I'm where I wanted to be. I am happy, I am fulfilled, and I'm impacting people's lives. And I think that you are a powerful, powerful testimony and such an inspiration in our community. Love you. Thanks for having me. Mwah. So much.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.